Hi guys. So, yet another country is sending a spacecraft into orbit today, eventually to land on a planet. So, I did say in my previous video that the third week of July seems to be a favorable week for space exploration. And I always wondered why. So, just stay till the end of the video and the country will be revealed and the reason will also be revealed. Keep watching, guys. Welcome to my channel. This is a Today in History show. My name is Sotonye Afiesimana. So, let's roll back the blinds to the year 1319. That is exactly 701 years ago. And we have this battle called the Battle of Chios. Chios is spelled C-H-I-O-S. It was a naval battle fought off the shore of the eastern Aegean island of Chios between a Latin Christian, mainly Hospitaller fleet and the Turkish fleet from the Aydinid emirate. The Christian fleet was resoundingly victorious, but for the Aydinids, who had been engaging in piracy since the collapse of Byzantine power, it was only a temporary setback in their rise to prominence. Okay, so that's self-explanatory. Turkey today is majority Muslim. I don't think that has always been so. So this battle that the Christians won was a temporary victory, even though it was resounding. But yeah, eventually the Muslims took over. Okay, so let's move on to the next occurrence on this day. The year is 1856, and this man, titled Lokmanya, his name Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He was a scholar, mathematician, philosopher, nationalist Indian leader who helped lay the foundation for India's independence. He was born at Ratnagiri in Maharashtra, one of the third of the Lal Bal Pal triumvirate. Tilak was the first leader of the Indian independence movement. The British colonial authorities called him the father of the Indian unrest. He was also conferred with the title of Lokmanya, which I alluded to earlier, which means accepted by the people. Mahatma Gandhi, the famous Indian pacifist, called him the maker of modern India. 1885, on this day, former United States President, pictured here, Ulysses Grant, dies of throat cancer. He was a Civil War hero and showed little enthusiasm for joining his father's business. His father was a tanner. So his father sent him to West Point in 1839. Incidentally, I have been to West Point. I was there in 2002 and saw the former President George Bush Jr. and during my cousin's graduation. So he's a medical doctor and also a military man. So West Point's very beautiful. So we'll get back on track. Ulysses Grant, who was born on the 27th of April in 1822, was an American soldier and politician. Like I said earlier, he served as President of the United States. He was the 18th president and served from 1869 to 1877. But before he became president, he led the Union Army as commanding general of the United States Army in winning the American Civil War. As president, Grant worked with the radical Republicans in the reconstruction of the Union while dealing with corruption in his administration. Interesting. So there was corruption in his administration, so it's nothing new under the sun. We find that that's the issue in a lot of so-called third world countries today. It happens in the developed world as well, even today. Yeah. Okay, so 1898 is our next pit stop, and the name of this guy is Tarasankar Bandyopadhyay. He was an Indian novelist who wrote in the Bengali language. So Bengali is also spoken in Bangladesh. He wrote 65 novels, 53 storybooks, 12 plays, 4 essay books, 4 autobiographies, 2 travel stories, and composed several songs. He was awarded Rabindra Purasakar, Sahitya Academy Award, Jnapith Award, and the Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan Awards. So that's a beautiful painting of Mr. Tarasankar. He was born on this day in 1898. So happy posthumous birthday. 1952, on this day, one of the most powerful military on the African continent, the Egyptian military, seized power in a coup d'etat. And this coup d'etat was staged by Colonel Gamal Abdel Nasser's free officers. So that's what the military looks like. It's, all the military gear and tanks and all ready for battle. Okay, 1962. On this day, this man in the middle with a plaque, supported by his wife, presumably, and his mother, presumably, with the man on the right who presented the plaque to him, presumably. His name is Jackie Robinson, and this event happened on this day. So he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He became the first African American to play Major League Baseball in the 20th century on the 10th of April 1947. Robinson, who signed with the Brooklyn Dodgers, played his first game on the 15th of April 1947 at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn against the Boston Braves. He studied at the University of California, Los Angeles, where he was the first athlete in the history of the university to letter in 4 sports: baseball, football, basketball, and track and field. Robinson entered military service during World War II and served as a second lieutenant from 1942 to 1944 in the Army. He began his professional baseball career after leaving the military. Robinson endured racial slurs, threats of violence, and blatant discrimination as he began play as the only African American in the league. Wow. He maintained personal and disciplined restraint, good on you, against the racial harassment and quieted his opposition through his amazing talent on the field. That's how to go about it. Not everyone's as strong a character as Jackie Robinson was. It's easy to fight back, it's easy to shout and revenge and even go into physical fights. But he restrained himself, focused on his job as a player, and he had great talent, and that eventually would have endeared a lot of naysayers to him. Okay, so it doesn't excuse the racists. Human beings can be terrible at times, but they can also be very, very good. Okay, so that's Jackie Robinson for you on this day, 1967, with his Hall of Famer plaque. All right, we'll move on to the year 1967. And on this day, the Detroit riots begin, and it became the bloodiest in American history up till this day. The strife occurred during a period of Detroit's history when the once affluent city was struggling economically, and race relations nationwide were at an all-time low. So these things tend to go hand in hand. People don't have jobs, they get stressed out, and then obviously they're not making as much money they have more free time because they're not working. So it's a vicious cycle. Things rapidly go downhill, just like a snowball. And it's unsurprising that this happened. So 1967 on this day. We move on to the year 1984. Miss America resigns over nude photos. So this lady, beautiful lady Vanessa Williams, on this day in 1984, she was 21 and she gave up her Miss America title, which was the first resignation in the pageant's history. After Penthouse magazine announces plans to publish nude photos of the beauty queen in its September issue. So Williams originally made history on the 17th of September 1983 when she became the first Black woman to win the Miss America crown. Miss New Jersey, Suzette Charles, the first runner-up and also African American, assumed Williams's tiara for the 2 months that remained of her reign. So these are 2 other pictures of Vanessa Williams. Beautiful, gorgeous Vanessa Williams. Looks even stunning up till this day. Okay, 1988. Guns N' Roses. My favorite song of theirs was released on this day, Sweet Child of Mine. And this is what I like that logo. It's very clean, very neat. So they make a popular breakthrough with Sweet Child of Mine in 1980s Los Angeles. So it was a mecca for so-called glam rock bands and the sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle with which they came to be associated. Okay, so that's them here. Guns N' Roses, who make their breakthrough song, Sweet Child of Mine, on this day in 1988. 1996, on this day. These women were called, or were known as the Magnificent Seven, or the Mag 7 for short. This was the Olympics, and these women take home gymnastics gold, finally. So the Olympics took place in Atlanta, Georgia. It was called the Summer Olympics, and the team wins its first ever gold. They had opposition from Russia previously and Romania, but they knew that they stood a good chance and they made good on this day. Their names were Amanda Borden, Amy Chow, Dominique Dawes, Shannon Miller, Dominique Musonu, J.C. Phelps, and Kerry Strug. So that was what happened on this day in 1996. Magnificent Seven. On this day in 2005, a Lufthansa aircraft crash landed at Lagos Airport. And Lagos Airport is in Nigeria and was badly damaged, but no life was lost. We move on to the year 2011, 6 years later, and it's Amy Winehouse's death. She is found dead in her North London home on this day in 2011. She was 27 and had struggled with alcohol and drug addiction. I remember her song about rehab, about her dad asking her to go to rehab. Wanna make me go to rehab, I won't go. So essentially, the song says it all. But interestingly, it wasn't the drugs overdose that killed her. It was alcohol poisoning. So the coroner's inquest will later record a verdict of misadventure and note that the singer had potentially fatal levels of alcohol in her blood. So my heart goes out to her family, her mom and dad, especially siblings if she has siblings, close friends, uncles, aunties, and her fans worldwide who would be memorializing her today. It's a young, talented artist whose life, was just wasted at the tender age of 27. But she made a great impact on the world of music especially. Okay, last but not least, today is the day. There's breaking news today, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Thank you for staying till the end. So, the great reveal, China. This spacecraft is called the Tianwen 1, and the Tianwen means, it translates to questions to heaven. So, China, a few hours ago, launched its first independent mission to Mars. Now, they calculate it will take 7 months to reach Mars. Which brings me to what I mentioned earlier. Why is the third week of July so important to space travel? I got one of the answers. There might be other answers. This might be the only answer. But I was watching, I think there's a video of this as well. So if you go check out the video, just type in, China sends spacecraft into to Mars, and you find that in July, third week of July, that's when the Earth is closest to the planets that it can explore, that aircraft from here, from the Earth, can explore. So that's the reason why I think the United States sent man to the moon on the 20th of July. Okay. India attempted last year for the first time. And then this year as well. Oh no, 2 years ago that was the first attempt, and then last year the second attempt. The third attempt, I think, happened a few days ago as well. You can go check it out as well. But the point I'm trying to make is that imagine that it would take you 9 months to get to a destination, and instead of spending that extra resource, you wait for the best time to get to that same destination in a shorter time frame. So by waiting until July, they're saving money, not just saving time, but saving money, because it will take them approximately 2/9 would be 1/4.5. So 20%, 22.5% less time and money to send the spacecraft to that planet, to Mars in this instance. So that's a huge amount of money. Imagine it costs, say, I don't know, $1 billion to send a spacecraft to Mars. If they were doing the 9-month thing now, you send the spacecraft in December, for instance, and it takes 9 months to get there, you would be spending an extra $225 million to do the same thing. That's a lot of money. So I think this is one of the main reasons why space travel tends to happen around this time. Okay, guys, thanks for sticking around, and I shall see you tomorrow for another edition of Today in History. If you do like this video, do not forget to give me a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing so you get updates of my uploads. Thanks again. My name again is Sotonye Afiesimam. See you tomorrow. Stay safe, guys. Bye-bye.